yet.
So we just
Yeah, all right.
just
so,
turned off the TV.
hello!
We just turned off the TV for Book of Boba Fett episode 5, chapter 5.
Yes.
And I think we could both sum this up in one word.
All right, well, for real. So, who would have thunk that the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett
Doesn't even have Boba.
doesn't have Boba Fett in it?
And it was
He's not in it.
And we honestly, I didn't even care. It was so good.
We did a spin-off show within a spin-off show where we go off, yes, the Mandalorian is back. Yeah, Din Djarin is back, and he's so we find out what he's been doing since the end of season 2, which he got important stuff, right? He got
my knee a little bit.
he got the
I'm just gonna face the camera for this one.
he got the dark. Well, no, we're doing dressing everybody here. Lights right in my face. See, next time I'm gonna put the light somewhere else. Oh well.
You want to move it really quick?
It's good.
We're already off the rails. Might as well.
No, it's fine. Okay, so this one's called Mando's Return?
The Return of the Mandalorian.
Return of the Mandalorian, okay. And it's just a complete epic side quest, I mean, you know how... Okay, so you got season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, right? In each one of those seasons, and it got better in season 2, but there were side quests that were episodes self-contained. And one of the better ones in season 2 was he goes off, he ends up on that planet with the spiders. You got the ice spiders running around. That was great, but it really didn't have anything to do with the main plot, which is returning, taking Grogu to the Jedi and things. And then he, meets up with the, the Rangers of the New Republic, which has been cool. And they show up again this time too. They're like officers, and you kind of get to see the transition from the Empire to the New Republic. But anyway, so this whole episode was a side mission. Was a what did
He's kick-ass. He has a cool sword. And he makes a hot rod.
Yeah, it was a complete
Thanks, folks.
Oh man, where do we even start with this,
dude? Honestly,
we don't need to do a summary. We could just talk about.
How about this?
Let's just talk about the cool stuff.
If you have yet to see it, turn this off and go watch it right now, because it is.
We always
so
put up
good.
a spoiler warning, but we'll double down on it now.
I'm not even worried about the spoilers. It's just the fact that it's that good. You should experience this. It's just.
Oh yeah, go watch it. I mean, this is the best episode so far. Why don't we do this? Pick 3 things that you loved about it, and then pick maybe one thing that you hated about it or didn't like so much.
All right, the one thing I didn't like about it, I'll give you 3 things I didn't like about it.
Fair enough.
First thing I didn't like about it, of course, is the fact that Boba Fett wasn't in it.
Yeah.
This was not an episode of the Book of Boba Fett. This was a teaser trailer for Mando Season 3. But I'm okay with that.
Or an epilogue. The epilogue to Season 2.
Yes.
What's he doing now?
Thing 2 I didn't like about it was the... some of the things seemed a little heavy-handed. The stuff with the other 2 Mandalorians.
Just the Mandalorian religious...
The religious zealotry always irritated me.
Yeah, it's because he's part of
This is the way.
He's part of an extremist sect that broke off from the main entity that lived on Mandalore.
That's done now, so thank goodness.
And, yeah.
I think people were getting irritated with it, and I think that's probably why they did that.
Yeah, there's 2 characters left. There's a Pre-Vizsla, is Paz Vizsla, played by Jon Favreau. He does a really good job. He actually voiced Pre-Vizsla in the Clone Wars. He gets to put the suit on and all that. Why wouldn't you?
And this guy's son's going to be post-Vizsla.
I mean...
Got pre-Vizsla, present Vizsla, post-Vizsla.
Paz.
Yeah.
But, okay, so that's 2 things you didn't like.
2, and the third was the hot rod montage scene.
I thought you liked that.
I loved it, but it went on just like a smidge too long.
This episode was really good, like smooth for 2 acts, right? Then you kind of got...
It was smooth through all of them. It would just at the end it didn't even really drag. It was just a smidge too long.
Okay.
It was like, okay, we didn't need every single one of these scenes. You could have cut one clip out of it, and it would have been perfect.
I don't know how long this episode
And
was.
here's the thing. All of these things, all of my gripes, I'm not even mad about any of them. It's just like they're things that if I had to really dig deep and nitpick, and it is nitpicks too, because this was phenomenal.
And if
Things I liked.
Yeah.
We started with a badass scene where he just goes into an actual warehouse, like an actual butcher warehouse.
I love how they've been slowly integrating. What do people do? What do people do for work?
It's the everyman, the everyman life of the Star Wars universe, and I love that
we
we're
haven't
getting more
seen
of that.
because all we've seen in like the movies and stuff is just the heroes. They might stop into a canteen or a bar or something, but you don't know the bar guy's story. He goes and works at a butcher shop, or we saw the docks in the last season with they got the
knit sweaters,
the knit sweater on. What crap? What's the name of that?
Mon Calamari.
Yeah, the Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And 2, they did everything with the Darksaber really well.
Absolutely.
It had gravitas to it. It's that thing like we were talking one time.
It's important again.
It was when you and I had this discussion when The Force Awakens first came out.
Okay.
Where they treated the lightsaber like it was a mythical thing. It had gravitas. It had weight.
They respected it.
It had.
Yeah.
It was a thing. It wasn't just trouble.
It's not Grievous.
Yeah. Every time the Darksaber was pulled out, everything took a breather, and like the music would swell and it would zoom in on it. It was really cool. The special effects were really cool with it.
Oh yeah, they were great.
You know what? I'm going to have 4 things that I really like just because I like this so much.
That's fair.
3, I love that they just built a hot rod. It built a hot rod. It even had a blower sticking out of the hood. It was so cool. 4, costumes and models.
Okay.
It was all practical effects. Like, there was very little CGI.
Was there any CGI aliens? Maybe the background.
Quite possibly.
But everybody in the foreground was in a costume.
Everybody was in a costume.
It's like the blending together of
all the fighting was actual choreography and everything. It was really, really cool.
Was that all your stuff?
That's all my stuff that comes to mind right away.
Right.
So what's your things that you nitpick?
Okay, so 3 things that I liked. You did dislikes first, so we'll switch it around. Ooh. So 3 things that I liked. Stop the recording. Stop the recording. Okay.
I'm gonna insert this here. We have a Patreon now.
Oh yeah.
I figured the only way to really pitch it to you is if we took you by surprise. So,
whoa!
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Yeah, so this will be over quick. But we have a Patreon. It helps us to get more of the equipment that we need. We're on a shoestring budget right now.
It really helps us out. We put it back into the productions. And
it's nice being able to have equipment and food. We have a couple tiers. We have a T-shirt that's me as a fat plague doctor on it. It's based on an inside joke. It's explained a little more on the Patreon. If you can afford it, throw us a few bucks. If you can't, I understand completely.
Yeah,
either
no
way,
big deal.
Leave a like, subscribe if you can. Cost you nothing to do that.
You'll in the first 2 tiers though. You will get a shout out at the end of the credits.
In the second tier, the first one, you get jacked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Except for the good feeling that you have helped a couple of losers.
If you do the second tier, your credits.
Well, I'm probably going to add.
You'll show up in the credits.
I'm going to add shout out to the first tier too. I might as well.
So now every video I do here, I got to put them in at the end.
Why not?
Okay.
Patreon.
Really enjoyed that they showed the Purge of Mandalore. They always keep talking about it, that the Empire came in, right? The Empire took over, and they're like, oh, here's all these, like, Spartans, basically, living on this planet. They could be a threat. You know, they were a decent... During the Clone Wars, they were doing their own thing. There was a lot of infighting going on.
Yeah, we got the Night of 1,000 Tears, so that's cool.
That's what it's called? Yeah, okay, yeah.
At least now, that's what she called it.
She called it that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was called that before, but
That's really cool.
the Purge of Mandalore, yeah.
And so we got to see, the TIE bombers, which showed up originally in episode 5. And there's just a whole fleet of them dropping look like atom bombs, just bam, bam.
It was like the old World War II movies where you get like all the Luftwaffe planes coming over and darkening the sky.
And that famously was all these dogfights were trimmed together for the original. They're in the guns, I got one. Don't get cocky, that whole thing. It was like cutting together dogfights and figuring it out because there was no previs for it. There was no previs back then. But storyboards don't give you that speed and accuracy, so Lucas just taped together all these old dogfights and stuff. So that was cool. There's your nerd for the day. But anyway, so that was cool. It was a great visual.
Really cool. Really well done.
It was a great story time.
Like you said, it had Terminator vibes.
Oh yeah, and then at one point there was these. Were they the the TK?
Yeah.
From Rogue One. Oh okay, yeah. So they weren't huge giants though. They're just big robots.
Just big robots, yeah.
And they're kind of going through the smoke, and I'm like, oh, it's Terminator.
They're shooting survivors, basically.
We assume, yeah, and then there's probe droids. So there was a lot of inspiration there, but it's cool. It was awesome. It
was really cool.
So the second thing was the fighting itself was brutal and violent and Star Wars-y.
Yeah.
I mean, Mando cuts a guy in half and then through a table. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he's, stabbing the guys and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm surprised. Like, why isn't Boba doing this?
Yeah.
It's like Mando is I don't know, darker, more violent or whatever. I don't know. But
he didn't spend 5 years with
sand
people.
Oh, that's true. He didn't spend 5 years getting lizards up the brain. And
here's the thing, man. Mando, he's been conditioned by religious zealotry, whereas Boba Fett now lives by the saying,
oh dear,
I couldn't even get it out of the straight face.
There's sand in my loins. Or, I don't know, I mean, I never asked him.
Could be sand anywhere.
So
it gets everywhere, it's rough.
Oh God. How did we not? Oh, that was a great segue. It's coarse and it gets everywhere, Brad. Sand. Makes you want to kill sand people. Insert shot of
Boy,
Anakin.
howdy.
Insert sand. Shot of Anakin. Which actually, funnily enough, you go back to, I think, Chapter 4, when we see all the, or no, Chapter 3, when all the sand people are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the, the music. And kind of looking around. And I mean,
what was that? I coughed. I'm sorry, what? Music? Cut back to the clip from what I thought was going to be an awesome opening to our Dune review.
Today we're talking about Dune!
Yeah.
Well, so immediately what I thought of is, as Boba's, he's going through the remains of the village, I was just like, Anakin? Is he alive and back? All right. So back to what we're talking about. The Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, The Mandalorian Season 3. Okay. So he basically, after he does the good killing, the third thing that I liked...
Good killing. The fact that Halo's in it?
Sidetrack, yeah. So Halo's in this.
Yeah, the whole first act takes place basically on a Halo.
On a space station, that's a Halo.
Just a ring, the inside of a ring.
And we're like, what, that's Halo. Or
it showed up, I immediately was like, oh.
Yeah. But you see, that's, okay, that'll be my third thing. We're off Tatooine.
Yes.
At least for the first 20 minutes or something like that, which was nice. I mean, that's one of the things missing for the Book of Boba Fett for me is there's no planet hopping, which... You really do. I mean, every single movie, every single TV show, I mean, they always have like maybe 2 different worlds they visit or something like that. I mean, even in the first one.
Well, Mando, it was all over the place.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like a new planet every episode, but that's part of Star Wars. New planets, new aliens, new technology. So they've tried to make Tatooine as interesting as possible, and they've expanded on it, and they have, and it's great. But yeah, I was glad to get on Halo for a while and run around, and you know, you see Mando struggling, and then meet up with the 2 remaining survivors of his cult, basically.
Who immediately steal his spear and then are dicks to him.
Do tell him you can't have that spear. Like, oh, this is dangerous.
That spear could totally.
And then, try to kill him.
Yeah.
It's like, my ancestors, the pre-Vizslas. Or the Vizslas, whatever. Yeah, House Vizsla.
I will claim the sword and become the post-Vizsla.
Fine. And then so Jon Favreau dukes it out with his creation, and it was a pretty badass fight, I gotta say. Oh, and he falls down, and he's about to kill him, and she's just,
enough.
Have you taken your helmet off? Gosh, she's annoying. She kind of needs to die, I think.
Hopefully she's done. Hopefully that's just the end of it.
I know. I
get rid of the religious zealotry. You know,
Right.
she was a cool character, but
So that was my third thing I liked, was that there was some variety. So stuff I didn't like, which I did turn out to like in the end. I was gonna say the return of the mechanic lady. I don't even know what
frizzy-haired
her name is.
lady, yeah.
Frizzy-haired lady comes back. Wow! Oh, the droids and I'm
she
like,
apparently dated a Jawa.
dated a Jawa. Hilarious. It was
and could speak Jawa, but it ended up fun.
She grew on me, and then I did not like it. And it was good. It turned out really good. Yeah. So stuff I didn't like. I guess you can count that.
Yeah.
But then I ended up liking it. But oh well, I didn't like it that Boba Fett wasn't in it. I was like, it's pretty clear when you're about two-thirds of the way in, you're like, okay, well, he's not even going to show up. He's going to show up at the end, or Fennec, which ended up happening, and say, hey, yeah, I got a job for you. And that's exactly what happened. And it was just, look, the episode was great, but it's a little off-putting because we're in the Book of Boba Fett, and he's not even in it. I mean, what was the meeting behind that? We're like, hey, Tamara Morrison, you're going to be in the show, except this one episode where we star the other guy from the other show. It was just weird. It was.
But let me add a caveat to that, though.
Yeah.
Whereas I agree, because that was my first thing I didn't like. It did not detract from how amazingly good the episode is.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. I mean, it was great.
It was something that we both were kind of like, that was kind of odd, but it was still great. This was as good as any episode from season 2 of Mando, which is some of the best adventure television I've ever seen. So I mean,
yeah, and it also, well, it is like that Saturday morning serial type of thing. It's not your typical show that would be on Netflix or something. We have like 12 episodes and all these plots going on. It's just the simple focusing on the main character. You might get a B character or a C character, or in this case, the A character becomes a nothing character in this one. He's not even in it. But I get it. You got to set him up.
he's mentioned once at the end.
Yeah, you got to set him up. What's he been up to? This is like the epilogue to season 2 of The Mandalorian. What's he been up to? Where's he going?
The Book of Boba Fett as a whole is basically tying up all of the loose ends from the end of Mando 2.
Yeah, it is. Turns out it is a sequel. You kind of have to watch this miniseries of TV after Mandalorian 1 and 2.
Yeah, it wraps it all up. It wraps up, or is wrapping up, Boba Fett's story.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if he's going to become a minor character going forward in a lot of the shows.
I don't see why not. Well, that was the other thing, too, they were talking about. The shows that are controlled by Jon Favreau and, like, Dave Filoni, they're like, well, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, in the future, possibly Rangers of the New Republic, which they showed up again. And then Ahsoka's definitely happening, though.
Yeah, so it makes me think that
Mando's
going to pop in.
Yeah,
in
they're going to do, like, the CW...
Like, yeah.
You know, Avengers type thing where they all show up in different events or crisscross into each other's shows.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And that's exactly what happened here. It was just odd not to see Boba at all. But, I mean, whatever. And it also was kind of like, oh, wow. We really do miss that show.
Right? Yeah, it was like
It was
I
like-
immediately when I went upstairs after watching that, the first thing I did was go on Facebook. Man, I really am excited for Mando season 3.
But we still got to finish the Book of Boba Fett.
Right, I know. I'm so pumped.
I know,
season
but it
3.
was also
it's,
like, oh man, because dude, I've been saying all along, this show has been a ride, and now it got even weirder, but from a different view.
one thing this did though. This upped the ante for the brutal violence and everything.
Oh yeah,
and because they're like,
yeah.
we're gonna hire him as muscle. So
the
now
dark saber and everything.
it's literally going to be, we're going to be able to see Mando and Boba kick wholesale ass in the next 2 episodes.
I think there's only 7 episodes. Yeah, so no, absolutely, that's going to be.
It's going to
especially
be
if he's on the
awesome.
Rancor.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And then you got
Mando.
the Mando going around.
Yeah.
Well, he can control it.
Which
now,
I
guess.
like that the Darksaber had weight to it. It was neat.
Well,
It
again,
was-
yeah, it's like taking it back to the original trilogy that George Lucas told Mark Hamill. It's like this is Excalibur. It's got weight. It's got levity to it. And then eventually, when you got into Obi-Wan and all these people that have been trained for forever, they can just and do all these different things.
Oh, and he even burns himself with the Darksaber.
Oh yeah, that was a very, very good detail. Again,
because he doesn't know how to use it right.
Yeah. There was always like in the comics and books or whatever, if a random person picks up a lightsaber and turns it on, you're probably going to kill yourself because it's like you're going to accidentally harm yourself. Because you don't know how to use it. It's a powerful weapon. You got to be trained, which he does. He trains.
An elegant weapon from a most
It's
civilized
an elegant
age.
weapon. Hello there. Hello.
I seem to remember owning any droids.
I'm gonna be in 6 episodes of my own show. Ho-ho. Hello there. I'm not doing a good impression today, but that's okay. What was my third thing I didn't like? What are the things you didn't like?
I already said them out.
I don't remember all of them.
No Boba.
I said that too.
The
I didn't like the lady.
hot rod scene dragged on a little bit, so that's kind of the same thing.
Kind of in the same. Yeah, well, honestly, we disliked the same things.
and
so
then
far.
the third one was
Did you have a third one, Eden?
it obviously wasn't that important.
It wasn't
'cause I
that
forgot
bad.
already. Yeah.
Because I really don't have a third one. I liked everything else about it. I liked all the jokes were funny. The set pieces were great. We went to Halo. I mean, goodness gracious.
He gets his ass handed to him by himself.
Why? That was always a great...
Oh yeah, the fun elevator scene.
Oh, yeah.
There's an awkward elevator scene, which is always funny.
Mando kind of stumbles in after the battle. Then you just have that, It's like in Spider-Man 2, I think, where it's just he walks in, the guy walks
Nice
in,
suit, yeah.
looks over. Nice Spidey outfit.
Thanks.
You gotta do Tobey Maguire. Thanks. I made it. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I mean,
It was so good. It was really.
it was really well written. It was well
was-
directed by Bruce Dallas Howard. And it was written, I believe, by Jon Favreau wrote this one as well.
It was phenomenal. It was really good, and it makes me excited.
We
for the rest.
saw Baker's Canyon.
Yes.
I'm not sure we saw that in any of the films. It was always alluded to. Luke was always, run through Baker's Canyon. We
went
went
through-
T-16 back home.
Didn't they go through Beggars Canyon in the pod race?
Very possibly. I'm not
Because
actually
they did
sure.
go through a canyon in the pod race.
They did, yeah.
And they went through the same path of the pod race in
You
this
know,
one.
it was next to Mos Eisley, and it very well could have been, honestly. I don't know. That'll be something I'll have to look up. And I'll put here. I just gave myself work. Was the pod race in Beggars Canyon, yes or no? There you go. Check out the rest of our videos at the Garke House. Also, check out our second channel, Garke House Productions. We got like a plague doctor. It's like a cartoon over there. And a
1940s
1940s reporter.
And a general.
A general that's out of
It's
time.
out of time.
So, go...
We got some Bigfoot hunters, and
Oh yeah, Bigfoot hunters.
one of them, it's alluded that he banged a Bigfoot.
Yeah, it gets kind of crazy comedy.
We have a creepy delivery guy.
We got different sketches and comedy things. Just when the buttons show up at the end, you can click on the one and go right to it. Also, we have like a Patreon. Patreon.
Yeah, we already told them about it in the middle of the episode when we interrupted
The
it.
other one.
Well, no, this one too. We interrupted this one as well.
Oh, okay. So we just insert the video that we already did. That works.
No, it was a whole new thing that it interrupted us halfway through this episode. It happened, Alex.
What?
You were asleep.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I'm eating yet,
Good night, folks.
so. Yeah. Good night.
Got you again, right in the middle of the episode, right when you were least expecting. This is our... Idiot fell asleep. Right when I'm trying to tell you about our Patreon.